He originally was looking into playing Lisa in this tournament, as well as a few other characters.
Right.
He realized, hey, I've got a limited amount of time here. I'm going to pick the most broken character I can and do the most brain-dead, broken tactic I can.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's working. You know why? This is a fighting game. Anything goes for the win, and Rabies is showing that right here, right now.
I understand that, but sometimes I have integrity in the sense that, like, you know, I feel a little
Wait. Are you saying that Rabies doesn't have integrity? It sounds like you're calling out Rabies. I don't know, Kat. I don't know.
I knew that was going to sound bad. That's why I didn't want to say it quite like that.
Actually, I believe you had a money match with Rabies that you won last night.
Lost.
Oh, you beat Chosen One.
I beat Chosen One, sort of, kind of. Either way, we haven't played in a specific setting like that, but Rabies and I did in a money match. He switched. Okay, this is what happened, though. I had him up. I was 2-0. His first to 3. What happened? And he switched characters, and he switched to, I believe it was Mariposa, Lisa. And once again, it came down to the fact that I don't know how to respond to her. I don't know what her string options are. She has all these offensive grabs that I'm like, what is she doing? She's flying through the air. She's all over the place. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting once this game's out next month because people are going to break it down like that. And
Exactly. So, coming up next, we've got, we've got Chosen One, who's going to be using Brad Wong, going up against Lopedo. Lopedo, many of you DOA players may know him as, I don't want to call him a forum troll or an online troll, but I mean, I don't know if I can call him anything else.
Well, he actually asked for a shout out. So, you know what, I'm like, what do you want me to shout out for exactly? And I used a few interesting words that, I may have called him because I do know his history in the forums and he is kind of trollish.
He is a little bit trollish, but
he admits to it in person. He doesn't act like a troll.
He's a very civil person.
He's not anonymous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's interesting because, he's showing up to offline tournaments.
Yeah.
He was known for the longest time as an online-only player.
Right.
He was told, if you want to prove yourself, come out to the offline tournaments, prove that you can do it when there's no latency, when there's no lag. And you know what? He did it.
Right.
This is not his first offline tournament, and here we see him in top 8 of a brand new game that very few people have any chance to play.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, like, online really makes a huge difference in fighting games because it comes down to the frame that you're doing things in. And when you have latency online, it adds those odd frames.
Exactly.
And it all comes down to connection. So generally when you're far apart, like East Coast, West Coast, it's going to be really hard to fully prove how good you are.
Exactly. And, so obviously, though, Lopedo is proving it offline where it really counts.
Yeah.
You guys are going to see a lot of offline tournaments. Like, Kat, I know, are you going to be at Seasons meetings?
I'm planning on it. I really have, like, this huge passion now that DOA is back because it's been, 5 years since the competitions happened?
Yeah. Well, we had CGS ended in 2008, so I guess it's been about 4 years.
Yeah.
Since the last CGS competition.
Yeah, and I felt like I just fully understood Hayate right when that happened, so I was pretty disappointed, and I'm just so glad to see it around because DOA was one of those fighting games that I just put all my attention into, and unfortunately in fighting games it takes 50 hours to learn a fighting game.
And here we are on the fuel stage, the bottom level of the fuel stage. We've got, I don't know if this is a button check here. Okay, it's another button check.
Yeah.
I think this is the third button check that these two players have had. So,
but how many hours would you say it takes to learn a fighting game? Because 50 hours I think is nothing.
Well,
I think you need way more than that.
Are we starting from scratch? Like, have I played other fighting games?
Fundamentals, having tech rolling knowledge, having frame data knowledge, stuff like that. How long do you think it takes to pick up a fighting game and adapt to it? Because, there seems to be a natural talent. Look at somebody like Justin Wong. He can go from any fighting game and do amazing, but it seems to only be not so much in 3D fighting games, but 2D.
It's definitely more so 2D.
Yeah, so there's an interesting kind of fundamental thing you pick up. I don't know what to call it, but...
Well, here we are, he's knocking things off with a critical burst. The Chosen One drops the combo after it, and Lopedo just kind of sitting there like, all right, I guess it's okay. We are on the home stage, the very bottom level. This is actually one of the most intricate stages, but you're going to miss most of it because we're starting on the bottom. That's actually new in Dead or Alive 5. You can now start on any of the tiers of a stage. You don't necessarily have to start on the initial tier like you had to in DOA 4 and previous DOAs.
Right. Well, I'm going to have to take this time to shout out to Chosen One because, you know what? I played against this Brad Wong earlier, and Brad Wong in this version is freaking high tier, in my opinion.
I'm gonna have to say no, Mystic.
Gently is too.
Gently is definitely top tier.
Okay, we agree on that.
I'm not gonna say Brad is top tier because he's a lot of shenanigans. And again,
parlor tricks, you would call it?
Exactly. Parlor tricks, shenanigans, yes. And the advantage here, once again, is that nobody has had time to really take Brad in the lab and say, okay, how do I get around his lay stance?
Right.
How do I get around his back turn stance? How do I get around his handstand stance? So Chosen One's just having a field day going, you don't know what's going on here, and I'm going to take advantage of that lack of knowledge.
Unfortunately, I think that's what comes into play a lot in this tournament because the game isn't out, nobody knows what's going on. So I thought that myself. I'm like, maybe I should just use a Virtual Fighter character and just learn a few strings because nobody's gonna know what I'm doing. And a lot of this game comes down to just understanding strings, like I said earlier.
Well, that's actually what I tried to do with rig, but apparently that didn't work out very well. Although my rig will be ready for season's meetings. But getting back to the match here, we were tied up at 1 round apiece. It's going to be closing out to 7 rounds. There's a power blow cancel that does leave you at negative 35. So if Lopedo had been
Even
a little bit
free
closer,
cancel?
yes. When you sidestep cancel a power blow, you are at negative 35.
That's considered sidestep even if you back back?
Well, okay, so in that instance, you can only cancel a power blow with the universal sidestep, the newly featured universal sidestep. And anytime you use that universal sidestep, if you don't do an attack out of it, which obviously when you're canceling it.
But I know you know everything about the game, but when I do it with Hayate, I do the command and then I hit back and it free cancels it.
Well, but you're canceling that into his Nimpo dash. That's why.
Oh, because he has the Nimpo dash.
That is unique to Hayate only. So Chosen One is standing up here. Is he calling somebody out? I don't know. He's pointing. What's going on here? He's sitting back down. I don't know. It looks like Chosen One is pointing at somebody. He did something. We don't know what's going on. The crowd is going crazy.
They definitely seem to hype up. Chosen One is definitely a hype man. So I don't know if you've been victim to that like I have, but it's pretty interesting.
Well, again, I don't want to discredit Brad Wong. I don't want to say he's a low-tier character, but I think a lot of his stuff is parlor tricks, and in this kind of tournament, that is exactly what's going to work. And he's showing that right here. Now, we're on the flow stage, also known as the RAF stage.
And Jann, that offensive hold, is that correct, that leg kick that he does, that move? Now, what properties does it give him? Because I noticed that Jann players seem to abuse that.
Yes, okay, so basically what happens is that, number one, it is an offensive hold, which means that it goes through attacks. And actually, when it does go through an attack, it inflicts extra damage.
Does it get guaranteed?
Combo. Yes, so after a successful Dragon Gunner, which is that offensive hold, he gets multiple guaranteed attacks.
Wow.
And generally what most Jann players will do, if you buy a wall, you get a free 6-6K, his forward kick into wall shenanigans.
Right.
If you're not, you can go into other stuff, or if you are by the wall, you can go into other stuff. You can stun them with, say, punch forward punch or any number of attacks. And then it's a matter of forcing the opponent to slow escape or counter while you essentially mix them up with any number of options. There you saw his Dragon Stance. He actually has a critical burst from regular stance. He has a critical burst from Dragon Stance. Jann is one of the best fighters in this game.
Essentially, essentially it's kind of like Bass, where Bass puts you in this guessing game, almost like a 50-50, but his moves are so strong and he's so kind of like mind-boggling that you just get all sorts of like, I don't know what to do, he's gonna grab me, he's not gonna grab me, he's gonna attack, and generally they get so much damage off of that guessing game. Exactly.
And we just saw last week, Ryujin dominated Hot Import Nights with Jann.
Exactly, and that seems to be what's happening here. What do you think Chosen One's doing with Brad Wong that's not working against Jann?
Well, see, here's the problem. Okay, so Chosen One is relying on Lopedo's inexperience against Brad Wong to kind of take advantage of that and seal this match. But as soon as Jann gets going, it doesn't matter if he knows about Brad Wong or not, because he's going to put Brad Wong in that situation where he has to guess. Although we're not seeing a lot of Dragon Gunners here. I don't understand. Maybe Lopedo doesn't find it to be as effective as Ryujin did?
I don't know. It's kind of going back and forth between these two. Like you said, I think he's adapting to what Brad Wong can do, but Brad Wong can do that, exactly that, those mind games that just mix it up, and you're just like, where is he going?
And there's a critical burst. Oh, he whiffs it. He delayed it a little bit too long with that critical burst. That would have finished it off. Now Lopedo's coming back. Can he do it? He needs to take his time here. Oh!
That was really kind of cocky in a sense. Like, that was pretty going over.
Yeah, he ran up to him and he said, do a wake-up kick.
Right.
I dare you.
But he did do a wake-up kick.
He didn't. He got up and did a low kick and still hit.
Right.
If that had been me, I would have backed away. I would have said, you know what, I'm Jann Lee. Possibly sidestep, yes.
Right.
I would have backed up and said, I'm Jann Lee. You're going to come to me because I've got longer reach than you.
Right. Yeah, I definitely think that being near somebody on a wake-up kick is too risky for damage when you are at that situation.
Now, if you have the reactions, go for it.
Right.
But you got to have the reactions.
Exactly.
You have to be able to say, if you wake up kick, you're going to get hurt.
Which is like you need to be looking at the game in slow mo to have that kind of reaction.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but I actually do have a slow motion indicator. Uh-oh. Lopedo's talking the trash now. Lopedo the crowd is getting hyped. I can't even hear myself think right now, ladies and gentlemen. You are missing out if you are not here at GV and Summer Jam.
These guys are definitely, it reminds me of the Marvel vs. Capcom community because I went over there and they get the same kind of energy, and it's great to see them have this energy again for DOA. It's been so long.
High stakes money matches right here. Not really, but you know. And here we are, like I said, we're in the hot zone stage. There's the RPG. Let's see if he can follow it up. Maybe with a 6-6K, he does.
Very nice.
And Lopedo's talking more trash. He's
Every
in his
hit counts.
And you know what? Right now, Chosen One seems flustered. He seems flustered.
Oh God, nice.
Lopedo is talking trash. Lopedo is talking trash.
God.
This is the Lopedo we all know and love.
You
and
have
Chosen One
to.
is getting some of his own medicine.
Against Chosen One, you have to talk trash because it's just that much more fun because he does that to you.
And you know what? Jann talking trash. Jann swaying. I'm like, what?
That was unsafe. Now he's just being kind of like, I'm going to kick your butt. I can be unsafe, whatever.
He's like, I'm just going to hit buttons. Do something.
Jann is just so powerful in DOA 5. What has happened since DOA 4?
The Dragon Gunner is back.
Wow.
That's what's happened.
But even Brad Wong has
There's
his
the
amazing
limbo stun. Let's see if he can take max advantage of it.
All he needs is one more hit to try and come back for this.
Nice evade. Nice counter.
Nice counter.
That is what Lopedo is known for. Oh, Chosen One gets him with it. Chosen One, do a little dance. Okay.
These guys are really getting into this match. I love seeing this between them. They're so passionate.
You know, Dead or Alive is a passionate game. I know I get really mad when I play. Oh, just kidding, guys. So I'm not seeing a lot of Dragon Gunners. So I don't know if
it's changed.
Lopedo seems to be playing DOA 4 Jann, with just a few minor additions. I need to see a Dragon Gunner.
Oh, and there he goes, standing up. The crowd is cheering. There's like there's crowds on either side. It's really cool.
The room is definitely split right now. Let's see what's going to happen. I really want to see Dragon Gunner. I want to see Lopedo do a Dragon Gunner.
And he needs to be away from those wake-up kicks. Stop getting hit by wake-up kicks. That's damage you don't need to be taking.
And Chosen One tries to get that punish. He didn't need to. He could have just sat there and blocked it. I don't know what Chosen One's doing. He's getting hit by the second and third hits of strings. He needs to take his time.
He whipped the Dragon Gunner and he's getting punished by Chosen One. Can he come back?
Now, you know what? That was a DOA 4 mistake. Lopedo takes it. Lopedo talks trash. But you know what? I want to step back real quick because what you saw there was Lopedo went for a low throw when Brad Wong was in lay stance. Dead or Alive 5 no longer has a universal offensive hold for all characters. So in Dead or Alive 4, when it was a universal offensive hold, that throw would have been an offensive hold. It would have knocked Brad Wong right out of lay stance. So you saw Lopedo's DOA 4, his muscle memory kicked in. He said, you're in lay stance, I'm going to go for the offensive hold. And that almost hurt him there.
Right. So it's almost like you just kind of have to forget about DOA 4, but at the same time use it. It's very hard. I think the person who utilizes...
Critical burst? Oh, he counters it. He should have known that was coming. You know, I don't know what's going on here. It's amazing.
I'm saying if you utilize the DOA 5 mechanics, I think that's what's going to have the element of surprise to win.
Exactly. There goes the power blow. And that's what happens when you just whip
I haven't seen that yet, too. I think that's the one option you have to pick when doing a power blow.
We haven't seen a lot of power blows, mainly because critical burst, now it's very difficult to hit it in less than 3 hits. Brad Wong, one of the very few characters that can do it in 3 hits. And as you saw, it's a very predictable setup. He can only do it off of 2 very specific moves. So you know it's coming, but that gives Brad Wong the opportunity to mix it up with a throw or some other launching attack.
Right.
And there's the Dragon Gunner into the wall. Let's see if he reapplies pressure. Nice ground kick there.
Who has better wall pressure, Brad Wong or...?
No. Jann clearly has better wall pressure. Jann on the wall is a beast. You do not want to be... He has a wall throw that leads to guaranteed damage. He has Dragon Gunner that can lead to a guaranteed wall hit. You don't want to be with your back to the wall against
Oh my God! Nice prediction on the low counter. That was that wake up that I was talking about earlier, but he has, like you said, adapted and knew what to do there, and that's when it does count.
Exactly. And you know, right now, even though we're seeing a lot more DOA 4 Jann from Lopedo than DOA 5, like we saw last week with Ryujin, it's getting the job done.
Right.
And that's all that matters here.
Because Jann is a lot like DOA 3, where he was just so strong that it didn't matter if you mashed buttons, you were going to win.
Exactly. Now, the other thing that we're seeing here is Chosen One doesn't know Jan's frame data. I saw several unsafe attacks that Chosen One blocked, no punishment whatsoever. Every attack out of Jan's Dragon Stance, except for the high jab, is unsafe.
So that's kind of the forgiveness there on the fact that he's so strong and the damage he gets. So look at that. Like, how much chunk of a health is he taking every time? He's only doing 6 hits.
That little kick on the ground, I love that thing.
Well, he's putting the pressure back, but I don't think he can come back because Jann only needs that 1 hit, and like I said, he has that strength, and he's going to get that damage off of 1 hit.
But you know what, Lopedo, you were right. I'm sorry. I don't know why I doubted you. I apologize.
Lopedo definitely seems to be in that hype mode, and you know what's funny? Because when Chosen One talks crap to you, you almost want to respond in the sense that you're like, you know what, it makes me more hyped too, that I'm going to just kick your butt that much stronger. So it's like a double-edged sword.
You know, and he's got Rabies coaching him, and Rabies is also a hype monster.
That's true.
You know, they are two peas in a pod.
But the double-edged sword comes into play where it can help you and all of a sudden take you off focus at the same time.
Now, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we are on the ends of the earth stage.
Right.
This stage is 100% slippery surface.
Slippery surface, which means
that all normal hits I just saw there are going to stun.
Right,
Normal hit,
just
counter
like
hit,
water.
high counter, it doesn't matter.
Just
exactly.
like water then.
Exactly. And
I had to do
Brad
that.
Wong is definitely going to have the advantage here because he has so many low hits that are so hard to see. Now, Jann, of course, can take advantage of it, just like every character can. But as you see here, Brad Wong really takes advantage of it. This is a terrible stage selection for Lopedo. This is possibly the worst stage he could get in this situation in a must-win game. In the last game of the 5-set series, or 5-game set, he has to win here. And you know what? He's proven me wrong. He's like, I don't care about slippery surface.
He's doing the mids instead of the lows because I think, you know, he doesn't want to get hit low, but he's mixing it up. And that's what you have to do to try and get the advantage.
And that's exactly what we were talking about earlier, where it's reading the opponent, knowing they're going to want to go low, and instead going mid to confuse the confusion.
Well, he might have heard you about punishing unsafe moves too, because he definitely did a great job there punishing that last unsafe move.
Now, I really don't like Lopedo going for the 6-6K there because he could have gotten more damage off of his other guaranteed options.
It's one of those things, once again, you don't have enough time with the game. It becomes muscle memory once you play hours and hours and hours.
Exactly.
So.
You're absolutely right. But you know what? I'm still going to call him on it because that's why I'm here. And as we see the penguins looking on, I believe they want to get in.
Do you get to interact with the penguins on this stage?
No, you can't. You know, but there are giant icicles which you can knock someone into and get an unholdable stun.
That's cool. Titanic style it is.
Here we go down. There are actually only 3 tiers in the stage. You just you fall to one of the other 2 tiers depending on which side you fall on.
Right.
So there's only 3 different variations.
It's in DOA 3 they had one of these.
Yes,
not
yes,
in
yes.
4.
No, in 4 there were no endless stages unless you
Right.
want to count the tatami mat stage.
Yeah. The other one was cool because you'd fall down and there'd be a puddle of water on one of the levels, and
Yeah.
that'd change up your options. Unlike this stage, which is all slippery, and I hate water stages just for that stun game factor.
I
Changes
definitely
everything up.
I agree with you 100%. There's actually been talk about having the slippery surface stages banned. I don't think it's going to come out anytime soon, but in the long run, we may see that happen.
Well, the crowd, once again, is getting hyped about this because it is coming down to the wire between these
Nice
two guys.
counter.
I think it's such a great feat to beat up Jann too. I think that just makes Chosen One feel that much better about having Brad Wong against Jann.
And Chosen One has the opposite momentum. He just got hit by Lopedo. Let's see if he can keep the momentum going. Chosen One takes the round. This is going down to the final match, the final round. The winner of this round moves on to winner's bracket. The loser moves to loser's bracket, of course.
Well, I know between these two that's very important because they just want to win. This is like one of the biggest DOA entry tournaments, I think,
This is
in
the
history.
biggest ever. 128
Yeah.
players. We had to turn people away.
Right. Granted, it was free, but at the same time, these are DOA players that live, like, there's a huge crowd going on, and this is just great to see for a game that's not even out yet.
And you're here from all the way from California.
Yeah, exactly. And you're here from Arizona.
We don't talk about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 'cause that place is hot and lucky.
And Lopedo takes it.
Wow.
Lopedo talking trash. Lopedo is talking trash. If you are not here, you are missing this. And Jackson hooks you up. Lopedo talking trash. They give him a hug. It's all friendly competition. The crowd is hyped. Alan Pear's getting into it.
Getting the hand claps, getting everything he needs. Look, that is just great support from his side. Obviously, he had a lot of fans cheering him on there because, you know, when Chosen talks a lot of crap, you kind of want the underdog to win.